we're back. Well Below Average Podcast. Nick, Roy, I'm Adam Ish. Glad to see y'all. It's been 2 weeks. How we doing?
Doing well. It has been a while though.
Busy, man. Busy, but had some good experiences. And boy, good experiences personally, although the last week has been a little bit rough from a worldview standpoint.
Absolutely. I know we got some shirtless, wet pics of video of Roy yesterday on Twitter. That was
Did you?
interesting.
That's
Yeah.
right. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I literally wake up every day. My first thought is, how am I going to handle this heat? What am I going to do to mitigate? What can I do in this heat that's going to be attainable, that can entertain my children, right? It's only maybe 1 or 2 days a week, right, on the weekends, but they need something to do. And like, again, I lathered up my daughter in sunscreen yesterday. I mean, I must have spent 15 minutes soaking her up in sunscreen, but we got out to a little park, little water spot there in Carrollton, had some fun. She didn't want to do anything but basically sit in like the kiddie pool area. So I was in about 2 feet of water the whole time, but I loved it, man. We got dumped in the bucket like you saw, and she loves that stuff.
Was the water refreshing at all, or is it as warm as a bathtub?
You want to know what? That little kiddie pool area, there were a couple like shady spots, but it's like one of those little castle parks that's got all these water features around it. But it was perfect the way it kind of slanted, because you could lay on the floor of the pool, be immersed in water up to like your ears, right? And just put your head back and close your eyes and be cool the whole time. There were actually points where I was like, it's like a little bit chilly in this pool. This water is cold. And that felt amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, the heat it's brutal. Adam and I were talking about this before we started recording, but I tell the people this all the time. I've lived here like my whole life, and every single summer I'm like, why do I need to move? Like, why do we live here? Why do so many people live here? I've never gotten used to it. It's just brutal. And this summer, a little longer than others, we're already have had 2 weeks of 100 plus in June. We normally get there in July. So it's miserable. I'm not looking forward to when my daughter wants to go outside all the time, and we just have to be like, sorry, we got to search for stuff to do. So it's rough.
Yeah, my daughter's actually watching right now. My oldest, Bricia. Yeah, she wants to go to the Air Force. So I've been training with her in this heat. We go out 3 days a week at about 2 p.m, and it is brutal.
Yeah. Well,
more for her than me.
If you can handle this heat, then you can go just about anywhere and be okay. But stay hydrated if you're doing anything in this. I've actually got a couple of softball games tonight in a playoff, and it's slated to be 101 degrees, and we play a best-of-3 series. So right now, boys, as we speak, I've got about 6 towels that are soaked in my freezer in a bag that I'm going to put in a cooler, and I'm hoping that I'm going to have frozen towels to dish out and pass around, because that's the only thing I could think of to even have a chance against this stuff. And by the way, don't tell your daughters you're not interested in shirtless Roy. Make sure
that's actually my son on my daughter's account now that he's.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, cool. Well, he's probably not either, even less so. But
yeah. I don't think they follow you on Twitter, but we're back. 2-week hiatus. Glad to be talking with you guys again. We got a lot going on. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors. My computer's not as even as normal, but I'll go ahead and talk about Local Menace. It's all backwards. Local Menace is a streetwear design brand based out of Dallas. Awesome stuff. They come out with new material, new designs all the time. It seems like they're getting real big. They've done some great stuff. Awesome clothes. I love their shirts, their designs, hats. They have hoodies for the winter. They got buttons, pendants. They got all kinds of cool stuff. So check them out at localminutes.com and use our code BEARDCREW. That lets them know we sent you, get you a 25% off discount at localminutes.com. Check them out.
And then, of course, we've got Rodeo Coffee, the black shirt over Adam's left shoulder, I think, whatever that one is.
Right shoulder.
But they're serving up coffee Thursday through Sunday, 7 to 11:30 in the Walsh neighborhood, which is West Fort Worth. I've got the coordinates here. They're at the corner of Makers Way and Assembly Park Drive. They do iced coffees, hot coffees, breakfast tacos on Sunday. So check them out. And you can find them on Instagram as well. They release new menu items and all sorts of stuff all the time. So check them out, Rodeo Coffee.
Awesome. So let's get into it. Well, first, we just had Roy, you just had a birthday, didn't you? Last week? Uh-oh, we lost Roy's audio.
Yeah, we can see you, but we can't hear you, Roy.
Yeah,
There you
it
go.
would help if I press the mute button back when I do that when my daughter runs in the. But thanks, man. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, did 32nd birthday. I was actually in Florida this past weekend for a wedding, so it was amazing. I have to be honest. On the beach, I thought I would be a little bit like, this is played out. This is not that. It was very like minimal, like chairs on the beach, little awning. That was about it. We had the reception at the Civic Center, which I guess is a historical site, but not very big, right? There are about 7 tables, burgers and like mac and cheese for the reception dinner. And yet it was incredible. The scene, the weather that we got at that time, the clouds and the shaping and the framing of the wedding. I know that sounds really like stupid, but as a guy, I've come to appreciate that stuff more and more as I've gotten older, and it was touching, man. It was cool. So it was a sweet time.
That's awesome.
What did you guys do the last 2 weekends?
Nick?
Well, last weekend was Father's Day, so just hung out with the family. We went and did like a late lunch, early dinner thing because that's just how it works. My daughter's naps. We kind of plan our time around that. So we eat lunch/dinner at like 4 o'clock sometimes. We did that, and then 2 weeks ago, I don't remember. I mean, I think I was just kind of hanging out. I don't think we did much, but it's been. I mean, I just forget what I did yesterday. So the last week was good. First Father's Day, a little more special. Now that baby girl's here, because last year she was just around the corner almost. If she'll just cuddle with me for like 5 minutes, I'll take it, because now she's in crawling mode and she doesn't like to be held at all. She just wants to get down and crawl and play and move. So she gave me that for a few minutes, and that was all I needed.
I was 2 weeks ago. I was sick as a dog. Not COVID. I did COVID tests, but we all got sick, and I was stopped up. I've been feeling bad since yesterday. I had a nasal evacuation event that I was not prepared for, and now I feel so much better.
Self-induced? Self-induced?
No.
Was this?
No.
I was thinking about it, but no, it just like I was walking through my garage and I went, and then my mouth was full, and it was like I was passing a demon, and now I feel 1,000% better. But for 2 weeks, just the worst sinus, head cold I can imagine. 2 weeks ago, I could barely sit up straight without feeling like my head was gonna pop.
You were having to suck it back up your nose and into your mouth and then spit it out. That's how you were having to go about it.
No, I mean I was blowing my nose and all that, but just yesterday, just a random like that, walking through my garage, just
because I literally
everything.
had to do that exact same thing. Like I have had to suck it up and spit it out and the most disgusting loogies like
Yeah.
I've ever seen. I'm blown away that this stuff is running around. Not surprised that it fits in there because look at this thing. You know what I'm saying? But like not surprised that there's a lot in there, but damn, it has been a little bit of a new experience for me of like sucking stuff up and just it constantly regenerating. I need this weather to turn, man. Like we need this weather to turn. It's bad in all
Yeah,
areas.
it's yeah. I've never had sinus issues like that. But yeah, last week Father's Day. Um, I mean, it's kind of low key. I'm not big. I don't. I mean, I didn't do much uh, for Father's Day, but um, my kids are getting older, so they want, especially my adult daughter. She likes to try to do a little more special things now that she's got money and a job and all that. So it's pretty fun that thing. But yeah, let's get into the show a little bit. And that segue there was nice and smooth.
Yeah, we're in the show, man. This is the show.
We're in the show. Let's get into our news. Obviously, the big thing, and I think it's going to dominate a lot of our talking. So let's get into something a little less serious off the top, if you want. Is I don't know if you saw the story in the email I sent, but from the AP News, Amazon's Alexa could soon mimic voice of dead relatives.
I saw
Go
this
ahead.
when you sent it, but I hadn't seen this before. So this is like
I don't like it.
fresh on my mind. here.
I've seen it before. You know where I've seen it before? Black Mirror. Okay. On Netflix, Black Mirror. They've done this whole scenario. They've played it out. Okay. Now it's one of many scenarios of how this could go. Right. But if you guys haven't ever seen Black Mirror or haven't even stepped into that realm, then perhaps that's one we need to put on the radar of shows that we can watch and review because that'll make you think about a lot of stuff. And in particular, the keeping alive the dead in the way that it will have to be done may come at a greater cost than it's worth. Am I being way too vague there? Or do either of you have a follow-up on that?
I don't remember the specific episode. It's been a while. I watched the first couple seasons of Black Mirror and I haven't caught back up, but yeah, it's a slippery slope when we start doing stuff like that.
So the problem is the individual passes and they're only capable of knowing what they knew up to that point, right? And this is obviously technology far advanced beyond what just mimicking a voice would be. I mean, is there a whole ton of harm in just being able to mimic a voice? No, right? If you're just recording something and having it repeated. But if you're recording something and then manipulating it, right? Not only do I hate this kind of long term, but also from a technological standpoint, right? This is someone that could just take a video clip or a voice clip of anybody, right? Off their television, down the road and take that voice and manipulate it to say something it never did. Yeah. That's a scary thought long term for me because we're already in an age that the truth isn't necessarily the truth, right? It's not the wholly everyone held truth that it maybe was in the 50s, 60s, 70s. I don't know. Maybe it never was, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. And that's the dark path of it, but it's just more the creepy side of it. I guess Amazon played a video at an event introducing this, that it's a young girl is having Alexa read her a book. And then while the Alexa's reading the book, the little girl says, "Alexa, can you let it finish in grandma's voice?" So the Alexa then has grandma's voice that can read the book. Grandma who's passed away can read the book to little girl. I don't know. That seems something wrong about that.
I mean, I already have like your Alexa, you can like hook it up to your phone, use it for Bluetooth, like to play something throughout the house. Have you ever had it like in the middle of the night, like randomly, like it plays the noise where it's like connected to Nick's iPhone or whatever it says, and like wake you up? We've had that happen. Like we have one in our living room, we have one in our bedroom. We got two as a wedding gift. I don't know. I guess we just decided to keep both, but middle of the night, because we'll connect it like while my wife's like doing something, getting ready, so she can hear it better than off her phone. And in the middle of the night before, we've just been sleeping, and all of a sudden, it connects, and we hear this loud, Alexa voice now connected to, Grace's iPhone, and it starts like playing whatever was last on her Spotify, and just absolutely scares me out of my mind. I am not for this. These things already kind of creep me out anyway. Like I'm not a fan. Like the more, like the classic. I've seen iRobot. Like the more robot stuff we do, just the closer and closer we get. I don't know. It could go bad pretty quickly.
Well, think of the manipulative properties of it. Like I guess haven't had anybody super close pass on me, but like so imagine a family member that's passed, and all of a sudden you're getting a Taco Bell commercial in your dead grandmother's voice. That would just oh, we're gonna tug at the heartstrings because we have proprietary ownership of this person's voice because you uploaded it.
That's another thing, right? Where's that voice being stored, right? Who has ownership of that voice once you like put it on there, right? Obviously you will not. You're going to have access to it at a time of their choosing, as long as you're paying for the service, right? But then also the other ramifications, I mean, the voice manipulation, calling and opening an account in someone's name with their information, even though they're passed and they're deceased, right? And saddling someone with debt like that. I don't know. There's just a lot of cross ways that can go, I think. And I have to say, I'm coming from the same place as Adam, which is that I've not really had many close to me pass. Now, all my grandparents are gone, but I got to experience them in my life up until like my teenage years. So I am coming from a place of somewhat like fortune to say I haven't lost a parent unexpectedly or otherwise. For those that do have that, like if it's just that, hey man, I can get that would be enough to keep you going in the times where it's really, really tough.
Well, I mean, and could they use this to prey on people that are vulnerable? I mean, like my dad suddenly passed away when I was 20 years old, had no idea anything about life. And like in that moment, like if they were like, all right, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars, like, charge me however much, like I had access to the money that he had left. I could have just spent that on, okay, like I'll spend whatever it is. Like, I mean, there's some serious like manipulations and taking advantage of people. Like, I mean, even elderly people, like a woman who lost her husband that she's been with forever, a man that lost his wife that he's been with forever. Like, elderly people already get taken advantage of with their money. I mean, like, surely that would happen. And you're just going down a slippery slope of things if you open up that world that I feel like would certainly start to get taken advantage of.
And wasn't that the Black Mirror episode where the lady lost her husband? And he was like a cyborg.
The episode type? I know is the wife dies unexpectedly and young, or the husband dies unexpectedly and young, so that like she keeps him around, but he never evolves with her. He never learns with her. He never changes with her. And so, they don't really grow together, they grow apart in that way.
It was Haley Atwell, wasn't it? The plays Peggy Carter on MCU.
But again, like they have a couple episodes that like tweak this in a way that I think would be worth exploring relative to this, to this conversation. But it's like, even hearing that from you, Nick, I mean, I'm so sorry that happened. I didn't know that had happened to you. And I mean, I can absolutely imagine being in that state of mind and being like, I'll pay whatever it takes to bring them back in this sliver. And
Yeah.
yeah, for old people, 20, 30, 40 years of life together, gosh, that's heavy.
Yeah. These companies will monetize anything, grief, whatever
Yeah.
they can
In
sink their teeth
general, though, I
into.
think I vote down on that. I'm thumbs down on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I'd be out on that.
certainly. Somewhat good news. Switch gears, and we're gonna get a little political on the news segment here from this point on. Um, but good thing that happened yesterday. We finally had some gun laws signed into law by President Biden. Now, probably didn't go as far as I think most of us would like them to see gone, but we did see some progress. Are y'all aware of kind of the highlights of the? They're calling it the bipartisan gun law that was just recently passed.
Yes.
Seen
Yep.
some of it.
I mean, it's good. I'll just give a little snapshot here. Extended background checks, especially for buyers 18 to 20, with a 3-day maximum record gather. No, 3-day maximum for record gathering will be lengthened up to 10 days to search juvenile data. Boyfriend loophole. So anybody convicted of domestic violence cannot purchase a gun if they still are known to have a relationship with the person that they committed the violence against. Just funding for red flag laws in states that have that, and mental health. The bill will expand community behavioral health clinics. Will help with mental health issues that could lead to people with mental health getting guns. Help eliminate that. So that's good. There's some more things, but Nick, you have any thoughts, comments on it?
Just we actually watched. They aired it on the news, like Biden signing the bill. So we were up every butt crack of dawn every day these days. So we watched it as a family. Kind of felt significant. Not like this monumental shift or change, but certainly a step towards something that I would believe in, that I want my daughter to know about, that I would like to see change as she grows older. So we watched it, and I'm of course glad to see it. Are there things that I would like to be added or taken further? Absolutely, but I'm not going to go on about that, because it's certainly a positive. So it took long enough, I guess, was also my thought.
It's progress for now. Feels like progress. Is it as far as we would like it to go? No. Does it close every loophole? No. Hopefully, I think the most impactful part of all that is the 18 to 21 time frame. I don't know. I just kind of hope that some of these are like not snap decisions, because obviously they are pre-planned and premeditated, a lot of them. But I don't know. The anger that appears to be in existence comes a lot from that age, right? We were all emotional at that time. So you can kind of understand a little bit of that. But at the same time, I never was emotional enough to want to go, shoot up a bunch of people. So there's no real excuse for it. That's I think the biggest thing to come out of it, the waiting periods and the background checks. The scary thing is those are grandfathered for about like 10 years, to which they will be either reevaluated and potentially like fall off the books, as they did not 15 years ago or whatever, when we did have like some type of assault rifle ban, or I can't specifically remember what type of ban that existed that fell off. And basically, since the time that it fell off, gun manufacturing like skyrocketed in the US. And now we're still in that position where there's more guns per capita than almost anywhere in the world. That's a scary thing going forward. But hey, it was progress. It was progress on the gun debate.
Yeah, I guess you take every little bit of real estate you take in these things, or you can get in these things. But
Yeah.
Nice
I
to
also,
see
though,
that.
on a quick side note, like I hope it doesn't take away from the spotlight that has come on Uvalde and the police department and the response or lack thereof of how they handled this situation. Like, if that's the argument that a good guy with a gun is the one who's going to stop a bad guy with a gun, well, then even with proper training, of which they had not a week before this incident occurred, like, what would you expect anybody else to do if
Yeah.
the people that are in the position that are being literally paid to do the job aren't willing to do it?
Yeah. And that's always been my argument is and it's compounded now. You had got, like you said, people that were trained to engage didn't. No one knows, no matter how much training you go through, no one knows how you react when someone shoots back at you.
Yeah.
All the target practice in the world, those things don't shoot back. What's going to happen?
And
in
the
those
cover up,
instances?
dude. And the cover up.
Oh God, that's
The amount of attempts to like stiff arm the media's ability to find out the truth of what happened, how it went down, and how it took place. Like, they're being uncooperative. The Uvalde police and the policeman, right? The chief was named to the city council somehow during all this time. It's like appalling. And I hope the gun reform stuff, which is all positive, doesn't take the spotlight completely away from what's going on there, because there still is plenty more that needs to be found out and uncovered.
True. Yeah, so that's good. And we got something not so good. The Supreme Court yesterday, day before,
Friday, I think.
Friday news dump,
Friday.
man.
Yeah, Friday news dump. Reversed Roe versus Wade, essentially ending the constitutional guarantee, the big thing of abortion, but beyond that, a lot of different opportunities for health care for women have been stripped away, or no longer constitutionally guaranteed, have been put in the hands of the states, which we already see a bunch of states are just blanketly eliminating. So I have a feeling, Roy, you're going to have a lot to say on this. So I'm going to throw it to Nick first to get some thoughts out. And
yeah, this is a hard one for me. So I am, what's the best way to put it? I'm maybe the most religious. I don't know if I'm the most religious on this podcast, but I, practice, religion, Christian faith, all those things. And abortion is obviously something that, first of all, let me say, nobody is signing up and saying we want, more abortion. Like that's what we want. So first and foremost, but being over the last, I guess, 6 years or so since I've been more in tune or have thoughts on politics and how people vote, one of the biggest things of especially evangelical Christian people is they vote for one reason. Whoever says that they are running a pro-life country, they're going to vote for, no matter what other areas they don't support, that term. So if someone says like we're going to, end Roe versus Wade, that got their vote, and that's something that really bothered me because, and it goes back to what we were just talking about. Those same people, most of the time, would tell you that banning guns wouldn't do anything. In fact, it would just give only the bad guys guns. And then but on the other side of that coin, we want to ban abortion. Well, we all know that's not going to stop abortions. And of course, I'm speaking broadly. That's not the only thing that this covers. But then that's only going to stop, safe abortions. And so what really bothers me the most is that this doesn't fix, in my mind, the root cause of why so many women who are typically in lower socioeconomic status than most of the people who are very passionate about this issue, women more often than not who are minorities that feel like this is their only option because they can't afford it, because they don't have the means to take care of a child. Like, we're not fixing any of those things. Our healthcare system is terrible. Are the resources available at a decent cost most of the time are not widely available, and so a lot of times, that's what these people will go to, and then there's even those who aren't in that situation, who have health. It's either their life or the baby's life. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like in Texas, for example, even in that instance, it will be illegal. Like, you can't. There's nothing you can do about that. And then things like IVF fall under this umbrella. So I have a lot of different thoughts. Obviously, like, I'm not saying, like, I'm I would say I'm more upset than I am happy, because I'm not happy, because I think it's, in the end, certainly going to do more harm than it is any good. And those people who are like just celebrating mightily, it seems like too narrow of a view for this whole thing. Even if you're someone who believes life is at conception, and if you're going to abort a baby, then that's taking a human life, because that's the root of the issue for the majority of people who are passionately screaming from the rooftops, that they're excited about this. And I think that there's just so much more to it. I hadn't really formed any thoughts on it, so I kind of just threw this is all of my thoughts that I've been having over the last couple of days. But does that sort of make sense? I mean, to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not super educated on this.
Everywhere you went, like, I agree with. I mean, from the socioeconomic impact and the people who this is really going to affect. But I mean, I do want to say, like, also everybody's saying, well, abortions are still going to be available, right? You can still travel to another state. And in some cases, thankfully, corporations are stepping up and saying they're going to pay for the travel expenses of employees that need to make those trips. But, it's not lost on me that in this moment, like, we're still three guys talking about these
great point.
instances. And whenever it's something like that, right, the first thing I do in my own mind is, like, talk to someone who's in that position, right? Talk to an African-American person about whether or not they've ever felt like race was at play in a situation in their life, right? Because I bet you can find nearly any of them, and they could give you at least one example where they were treated differently because of that. And I think for women in the same instance, if you ask them, perhaps they didn't go through an abortion, but they probably know someone who did. And no one who's having an abortion is celebrating that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one is, like, got a flag raised going, I can't wait to do this again. Right? So no one is on the side of pro-abortion from the standpoint of taking lives, right? Unless they're psychopaths. But for the people that are on the side of pro-choice, what that comes down to is the ability in instances where rape or incest might be the circumstances, in instances where the mother's health as a result of a cancerous, tumor is at risk by having the child, right? Instances like that. And it feels like sometimes people want women, because it's not the men, but they want women to be punished for making a mistake of having sex, right? It kind of comes back to that. Like, if you have sex and you understand what the consequences are, then you're old enough to make that decision. And but plenty of times you have sex and you don't have kids, and that's, no one's having sex. Most people are not having sex with the intent to have them, right? 90% of the sex that's being had out there is not being had with the intent to have children. But they want, like, a pound of flesh for that. And there's also, I think, an argument to be made that the people in power the rich people, there's some incentive for them to have children, right? Because they know that children are going to be expensive, and they are going to be, in some cases, especially in today's day and age, an economical deterrent to your ability to make your life better, to push yourself up into a higher socioeconomic status, right? And I think all those things kind of come into play when you have that money pouring in to societies like the Federalist Society, who actually helped basically write and name all of the judges that were appointed in the last several years by conservative candidates, right? In instances where they were in the minority at the time, right? But that's, and I'm going real broad on the political spectrum. I can see Nick's eyes kind of rolling back in his head, and perhaps I'm touching on a lot of things that people don't know specifics about, right? But when it came to the appointment of the Supreme Court justices that we've had most recently, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Amy Barrett Cohen, all of them were named by and supported by the Federalist Society, which is a group of conservative lawyers and practitioners that in large part have been actively naming and placing people throughout our court system in the United States, right? This is not a conspiracy. You can look it up on their website. They will tell you that is what they intend to do. And Trump, for all his complaints and all my complaints of him, right? He has no idea who any of these people are. He was given these names by Mitch McConnell and the GOP. And now we are in a state where, bro, like the long-term stuff, it does not stop here. It does not stop here. If it goes to contraception, now imagine a woman, a female athlete, having to travel from state to state and carrying with her pregnancy preventative pills because she's trying to continue to be an athlete, right? But when she flies from Texas or into Texas from a state where it's allowed, right, she could be trafficking drugs. She could be charged. And that is, I believe, where they want to take this, to use it and manipulate it. And to be honest, man, elections happen every 4 years, right? Shit's going to change. But you know what won't change for the next 20 years?
Yeah.
The judges on the Supreme Court, unless we do something about it. And if that doesn't change, man, we are headed to a religious, dominionist society where we're all going to have to bow down to. And like, I'm religious too. Look, I mean, I got a chain that tries to remind me that I'm still Christian. I try to remind myself, because the values that it stands for within the Bible, when you read it, do have some meaning, I believe, right? In everyday life, they are valuable. But the way that it's used and manipulated, I don't love. And I think this is an example of that. So sorry, I'm long-winded too. And I went a lot of places. I know. Sorry. But it's scary because this is a 6-3 court. 6-3 conservative to Democratic. And when that is that skewed, and that's an entire, that's one pillar of the 3-pillar system that we're in, right? Judicial, the president, executive, and Congress, right? The legislative. Well, Congress is always going to be fighting. Presidency will potentially be a toss-up because it'll get flipped back and forth. If things go bad under one, they'll flip it to the other, right? Regardless of what the platform is. But the third one, this shit ain't changing for a while. And that's problematic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I just want to touch a little on the religious side of it.
I'm not that depressed all the time, but it feels dire.
Yeah. Well, the most dire thing, and I don't know if we want to dig into this, was, I feel like this is all smoke and mirrors. Yeah, it's a big monumental decision, but look at Egbert and Boule, Boule, that was handed down about 3 weeks ago. That essentially took the Fourth Amendment rights away from about 2/3 of the country. It's that's the scary one. Federal agents are now free and clear to search without due process. So especially border agents within 100 miles of coast and borders, about 2/3 of the American population live. Federal agents could kick down doors without any warrant or reasonable suspicion.
Wow. That's shocking.
Look that one up. That's the big one. And I kind of feel like Roe v. Wade was, or this overturning was kind of to draw attention away from that. But with this particular case, and yeah, I'm religious as well. I went to seminary. I went to a Southern Baptist seminary, conservative Baptist seminary, more accurate. I have big mixed feelings when it comes to religion and how the church. So I was fascinated with church history. And one thing you learn in church history is when the church becomes involved with politics, it's really bad for the people. Holy Roman Empire is a big one. Hundreds of years of people being born into the church, held to the religious beliefs of the church, and being, persecuted, generations of people, inquisitions, things like that.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
I don't
happens
think
when the
that's
church.
unique just to Christianity, by the way. I think
No,
that
no.
applies to all religious. If it becomes, I was going to say that is like, if it becomes too religiously dominated in terms of like the morality of the people and all that, that's almost always bad. I can't think of a time in which it was good.
It's not, and the whole crux of Christianity is that choice, right? You should choose. The Bible isn't for everybody; it's for people who are saved, right? People who have accepted Christ. Not everybody. So when you start holding people to that morality, I think it hurts. As a Christian, I see it as this is very bad for the evangelical church, because how many people are now never going to be receptive to Christianity? How many of those people are going to raise their children and generations below that to never be receptive to Christianity? That's my biggest fear. I don't like abortion, but I can't stand the idea of legislating from the Bible, because that's not what it's supposed to be. And that's where we, like you said, we'll run into big problems. We'll run into these dystopian religious type issues that have happened many times in the history of our planet. So, that's my big worry. And then that combined with that other ruling, the Egbert and Buell, we're seeing certain amendment rights being stripped away little by little, and it's all kind of being hidden. So it's getting kind of scary from my perspective of what's going to happen in this country in the next 2 election cycles. We could be in a completely different country politically than we started out than we're at today. So, but yeah, check that decision out, and we could talk about it next week a little bit. I don't want to keep kicking on this political thing, but it's getting scary.
Better days, they tell us, are ahead always.
Yeah,
Elon's going to save us. Don't worry.
Elon is Lex Luthor. Don't be fooled. Nick, do you have a Nick Hates It?
I do. So,
all right, one second. Hold on.
Cue it up. All right. So my daughter's almost 1. She's starting to eat more regular food. We're giving her breakfast, lunch, dinner, trying to do 3 meals a day so she gets used to it. We've kind of moved. She does some like classic purees, but moving into like some more regular food. But we still got to, you're supposed to be pretty bland with what they eat, at least early on. And so this has really brought me back to some foods that I really hate, and like foods that I just think that maybe are popular or maybe were popular, like with my parents, that I just really don't like. And I would like to hear some of the foods that y'all hate that just you can't eat. And the first one, something that she loves that I think is just absolutely disgusting. She is loving right now cottage cheese with fruit. So like fruit mixed in with cottage cheese, she just thinks it's the best, and it makes me want to throw up. I think it is so gross. Like we buy these little, it looks like a yogurt cup. They pre-mix it for you. It's got like strawberry. Oh my gosh!
But it's lumpy.
She just loves it. And I remember my parents, especially my stepdad. He would like eat cottage cheese and fruit all the time. Like loved it as just like a decent, I guess, healthy-ish snack. But man, I think it's terrible, and I can't stand. I don't like feeding it to her. I think it's just so disgusting. The other one is oatmeal, just plain oatmeal. She loves plain oatmeal. I mean, oatmeal's fine. Like if you dump a pound of brown sugar in it, maybe some blueberries or something, but plain oatmeal and cottage cheese. That's what we've been doing a lot of the last 2 weeks as far as her food goes. And man, they are just terrible. Both of them very, very bad. And I forgot how much I like disliked cottage cheese until she started eating it. Like it just looks gross. The texture is bad. Just don't like it at all. Is there a certain food? I mean, we've talked about this a little bit before, but kids like specifically, like just love that you just won't touch.
I love cottage cheese, by the way, but not with fruit. Tomatoes, yes. Anything else? No.
No thanks on the cottage cheese. Yes on the oatmeal. Like, I mean, and even plain oatmeal you can make work, but get the peaches and cream, get the strawberries and cream, dude. Get you some cream in your life, bro. You will love it.
Maybe that's better. That's probably plain oatmeal. Probably is wrong decision for an adult, but
yeah. Plain oatmeal, you gotta start. You gotta start adding some texture. Brown sugar is a good start. A little bit of milk.
Honey. Throw some locally sourced honey in there. Yeah,
honey's good. A little, some extra nuts or something if you want. If you really want to go nutty on it, or oaty. But
are either of y'all's kids big into ketchup? Like just the ketchup loving?
My kid. It's a vessel. Everything is a vessel to eat the ketchup, right? It's like one fry is enough for a packet of ketchup because the fry half the time is not eaten. It's like, you get this translucent, just like squiggly loose thing at the end of it. He's like, I'm done. You haven't eaten the potato. It's still right there. I'm done.
A quarter cup of ketchup.
The ketchup's gone. Can I have more ketchup? No. Yeah. He definitely does that. I am not into that.
Yeah.
And then I was going to say fruit wise, like you made me think of fruit, melons, cantaloupes, and like, God, what's the other one that's always like it? It's always served together. Cantaloupes, and melons, green melons. No, thank you. Like they're basically just big blocks of flavorless like moisture.
I kind of disagree. Like a good cantaloupe, I'm a big fan. I like a good cantaloupe.
Sorry if I'm distracted. One of my cats was under the bed and he wants out of the room and he's just circling me.
He's gonna jump on your face.
I think he is.
Well, hey,
so my wife's in here to get him out. Well, my wife came in to let him out.
You do not want a mad pussy, dude. That's the last thing.
I'm trying to think what other food.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, there's other foods that I don't like. I mean, I can't stand licorice.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Ooh, good call.
Oh,
the whole sandwich. Like I only think of sauerkraut, and I think of the corned beef sandwich. Like, and I know some people like that. I know sometimes it can be good. I just not there yet. Not to the place where a combination of four things that I would never eat in any other circumstance. Right? Rye bread, corned beef, sauerkraut. Right? And what's the fourth thing that usually
is it Dijon mustard? Like a
I need Dijon mustard. Mustard's good, but those three things, like I'd never eat those individually or with anything else. But somehow they combine to create a great sandwich. Like I'm not buying it, and most people aren't buying it either. That's why you don't see it served in most places.
So my hot food opinion, and the one everybody in my house loves, is I don't do pineapple. Can't stand it.
Whoa.
Yeah, that one is kind of off the wall there.
You need to go see a gaucho, bro.
What is
You
that?
guys ever been, Nick, you ever been to the Brazilian steakhouse where the gaucho brings like the pineapple on a sword and it's got like cinnamon on the outside or something? They kind of toast it a little bit. They like burn the edges and sweetness. Caramelize it. Adam, what's wrong with you, man? Pineapple?
It's so first off, it gives me immense terrible heartburn. Like I could tell if something has pineapple in it. It just and I don't know if I
so much. I mean, pineapple like flavored drinks are delicious.
Nope, don't do it at all. And I've been to Brazilian steakhouse at the Texas Day Brazil, but they bring you the cinnamon bananas.
Okay, yeah, the plantains, yeah, they do bring those, which are delicious too, right? But yeah, it's every now and then. I'm trying to think. I've seen it less and less with the pineapple one on the stick, but I have seen it, and it's yummy.
Hold on. My son, through my daughter's account, wants to let everybody know oatmeal's delicious.
I mean, we agree, right? It's
that was more of a hate towards plain oatmeal. I won't throw all oatmeal.
Which, I mean, honestly, I can't remember the last time I ate plain anything. Like as a kid, if my mom poured me Rice Krispie treats, I like at least put 2 spoonfuls of sugar in that bowl alongside it. Like sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear an echo. Is somebody? I don't know how to fix that. Do y'all hear an echo?
I do have this little microphone here. I can hold it if you like. Maybe that goes away. Did it go away?
Is it me?
I don't know. I could only hear myself echoing, but I'm on headphones in this.
Nick.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't hear an echo, man. I think it sounds good.
It's probably just me picking up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else food-wise that I can't stand.
Anything that your kids just love that you like don't eat at all.
Man, I just don't have that. I'm not super picky about a lot of stuff. Like I'll try nearly anything.
Are your kids picky?
Yeah. Oh
My
yeah.
oldest.
I mean, man, I wouldn't expect Adam's kids to be nearly as picky as mine, but yeah, 5 and 3, bro, they eat about 4 things. Like pepperoni,
ranch or ketchup, right?
Pepperoni, cheese cube. I can go through them. Pepperoni, cheese cubes, yogurt, cucumbers. She'll have shredded cheese. She thinks that's different than cheese cubes.
String cheese.
She wants it shredded. No, I don't want that cheese. I want this cheese. It's the exact same type of cheese. It's all I literally take it and I shred it up and she thinks it's different. Man, am I already out of stuff? I named 4 things, right? Yogurt, they will eat.
Like chicken strips, chicken nuggets.
Nuggets. Yes. Dino nuggets they've recently become accustomed to. And then, of course, like McDonald's, right? Chicken nuggets, French fries as a vessel.
There are things.
That's how he eats all of his ketchup. It's so annoying. Oh, it drives me insane.
There are a few things with my kid. I can't think of anything top of my head, but it's kind of a rule in my house. It's pretty much like if I cook it, you're eating it.
Ooh, I like that.
You don't like it. You
that's how my parents were.
Yeah.
If it was made, I was eating it.
You can spend all night fighting it, crying, and you'll go to bed hungry, and then you'll wake up in the morning for breakfast, and it'll be there. Don't play with me. So that's one of my big no, we're not doing that.
Man. Oh. I need to get better scene control.
Yeah,
but I'm a pushover.
Now, when they were little, it was different. I wasn't pushing it as much when they were 3 and 5. I wasn't,
Yeah. Now they're in their teenage years. It's like, yeah, you will. You can handle it. You can handle broccoli.
Yes. I guess my oldest daughter is on now. Yeah. So
nice.
I can't think of anything particular. Pineapple, stuff like that. Like, I don't really care.
I mean, pineapple's a pretty wild one, dude. Pineapple's That's bigger than I think
Uh,
anything Nick or I threw out there.
very popular, very common.
It's hugely popular.
And on
Wow.
pizza, no. So does pineapple belong on pizza?
No,
Yeah.
I know
absolutely
people
not.
that love pineapple that
Hawaiian
say
pizza,
no. Okay.
absolutely. A little bit of ham.
Hot,
Well, I mean,
absolutely not.
people used to think ranch didn't belong on a pizza. Then somebody made a bomb ass ranch pizza. They didn't think buffalo sauce belonged on a pizza. Then somebody made a bomb ass buffalo pizza. Margarita flavors, right? Cilantro or whatever it is. Basil, does that belong on a pizza? No,
Basil.
until you pair it with tomato, and it's
I think that's
delicious.
a logical fallacy. Isn't that ergo Proctor
Yeah.
Hawk, something like that?
I'm not
Just
gonna.
'cause one thing works
hate,
doesn't mean they all work.
That's it.
I'm
It
not
does.
gonna
It
hate
does
you
work.
for
Well,
putting
it
pineapple,
works
but I don't
because
like it.
it is obviously like one of the highest selling pizza. You know, every place offers a pineapple pizza.
Well, every
If
place is
it didn't
wrong.
go on a pizza, they wouldn't offer that, right? No one offers a God. I mean, no one offers an apple pizza because it doesn't go on a pizza. But if they offered a pineapple pizza and it didn't go on it, no one would buy it and they'd stop selling it.
Fair. That's fair.
I mean, God, what argument do you want to lose today? Because if you're not on my side, you're going down.
I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of people can be wrong at the same time. So is that it? Does that wrap up Nick Hates It?
That's all I got today.
It was good.
That's all I got today, boys.
It's fun.
I want to do the banner again. Hold on. I love the face.
I know, me too. That made me smile.
All right, Roy, do you have anything you want to get off your chest?
I mean, shoot, like I said, my life right now is researching water parks. And you'd be shocked at how many of them there actually are, like in and around the area. I guess when I was young and I didn't grow up in Texas, I grew up in North Carolina. There was maybe two. One was like a small rinky dink one, and one was the big one that was like an hour and a half away. And now when I look into my Google Maps, there's ones that don't even show up because there's too many to list. Whether it's community little parks or the one that I went to yesterday, which was in Carrollton. A friend of ours, Nick, Lay Lewis, turned me on to it. He went there as a child
Okay.
15, 20 years ago. It was free back then.
Wow.
And I thought, there's no way in hell it's free these days. Sure enough, it wasn't. $6 for residents, $10 for non. But,
That's
you know,
not
$20
terrible.
for my daughter and I to go spend 3 hours in the pool, relaxing, chilling, having a daddy-daughter day. It was awesome. And so now that's kind of what I'm looking at all the time, right? It's all I care about. What does the Great Wolf Lodge pricing look like, right? Is that out of the sphere of possibility? It is right now for me. Like, I don't want to go through that just yet, but I may become desperate enough when it gets up to 110 that I'll feel like that's a good move. There's another spot in Little Elm called the Cove that is an indoor water park, or at least like it's covered in glass panels. So it's temperature regulated, which is awesome and feels amazing. But I'm right now, like I said, man, like my life, all I care about, especially knowing that the next couple of weeks, I have nothing going on. I don't know if you guys are doing anything for 4th of July. I have nothing fun. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get somewhere where I can get fireworks or anything to that effect. So, shoot, man, I'm just trying to stay cool every damn weekend that I can. If y'all got a pool, hit your boy up. Let me go swim in that bitch.
I don't have a pool, but if you work your way down to Burleson Pirates Cove, let me know. I'll bring the fan.
Nice. See, you got a spot. You got to have a spot nearby. Are you 4th of July? I mean, shoot, I know that's when we do this recording the next time around, it'll be the 3rd, and then the 4th is a Monday. So I guess we could save it for that.
I am old man. Get off my lawn. When it comes to 4th of July and New Year's, I have a tough time sleeping. And this neighborhood is a firework popping mecca.
Yeah, same.
And my dog, I have to dose on my dogs to death nearly with CBD so they won't panic. My youngest dog freaks out. Like my wife was popping bubble wrap yesterday, and our youngest dog was panicking. When he hears anything popping, he freaks out. So it's like and it's not just 4th of July. It will start tonight probably and go a week on either side of it of fireworks all the time.
Hey man, the stores were closed for a long while, but the
Didn't stop anybody around here.
that little stop shop, and you got to imagine how much money that thing is only open 2 times a year.
Yeah.
How much money do they make in like the 2-3 weeks that they're open? I want to invest in one of those. It's the next move.
I'll invest in one when I can move far enough out in the country. I don't have to hear the fireworks. But I'm becoming an old man. This is my birthday in September. It'll be my last year in my 30s. I'm pushing the 40. The big 40's looming, guys. All right.
Damn. Gotta go get them fingers, dude.
So,
do that press and cough deal that they tell you about. I've looked into it. I'm not ready to do it myself, but
I did it mandatory when I got out of the military. I was 26. It was uncomfortable, shocking.
Kind of pleasurable?
No. I swear that lady had to have.
So it's not like the movie Road Trip where okay.
No.
Where Stifler just and I know I'm mixing 2 movies there, but Stifler just absolutely loves having it checked out.
I think it was 3. Yeah. No, it was a little petite Asian lady, doctor. I should say that. A doctor, little petite woman. I swear, I didn't look at her hands before, but she had to have like 9-inch diameter knuckles. It was.
Yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
You ever squeezed one out going the other way? It always feels a lot bigger than it winds up being at the bowl.
Yeah, I was not happy with that. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wasn't expecting it. It wasn't like, hey, expect this. It was like for the next 3 days, I just sat in my room, weeped, and the bottom of the shower, just rocking back and forth, Nobody. Ace Ventura. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you're ready. Then you're lubed up. Your body's already primed for it. You can do it again, no problem.
Oh, yay!
There you go.
All right, ready to move on to some movie talk, some TV talk. I got a few things. Boys, you haven't been watching Boys. You haven't caught up, Nick. Roy, are you staying on top of it?
Saved this most recent episode because I read the disclaimers, number one, but also because my wife's out of town. I don't even know if she's going to want to watch it with me, to be honest with you, based on what I've read and seen a little bit of. But yeah, it might be too out there, too grotesque for her. But I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Like, that's the type of thing that would make me go, yeah, this is going to be a hugely popular episode.
It does, it has a superhero scene where they let their inhibitions go away. Yeah,
the episode is titled like Soupgasm or Herogasm.
Yeah. We get the return of the guy that shrinks down and grows big. He's back in this episode.
Great. Well, boy, he had such a incredible introduction.
Yeah, now it's just brief, but yeah. So I'm digging the story, though. I think it's outside of all that, it's coming together pretty well as a the season. We're seeing they're doubling down on spoilers, I guess, but from season 3, they're trying to get rid of Homelander, and they're pulling out all the stops this year.
Boy, but he is the ultimate heel. Like, he is the ultimate villain that he's one of the best villains I can remember in any genre, TV or film or otherwise. Like, terrifying, manipulative,
because you never know when he's just gonna
never really, honestly, even never even a moment of where I'm feeling, I feel a little bit guilty for him. There was a little bit of that in the first season. You're like, man, that is a lot of pressure. That's a lot of weight. sometimes. But then you're like, God, this guy is just absolute evil to the core.
Yeah, because you never know when he's in a room and someone says something he doesn't like, he's just not gonna just slaughter everybody.
That he could.
And
It's always the threat, right? Out on open ocean.
Yeah.
Nobody can hear you
He's so
scream.
emboldened. Oh, he's yeah. I don't want to do too many spoilers for Nick, but he's much more emboldened this season.
Okay.
He doesn't really care anymore about the consequences, which is scary. But
great.
good to see have we caught up Obi-Wan? I know you're not a big Marvel fan. You a Star Wars guy, Nick?
I like Star Wars. There can be too much of a good thing, and that's where I'm at with Star Wars right now. I haven't even touched it. Probably won't watch it. Maybe I will. But I'm good with just the movies. I did watch. Oh gosh, well, I can't. Why am I not thinking of the name? The other Disney Plus series.
Boba Fett, Mandalorian.
No, Mandalorian, the first one. Watched that, enjoyed it. Didn't get the the hype, the obsession level, but I probably will not watch Obi-Wan. But I like Star Wars, don't love it. I did watch a movie on Netflix that we liked. It's pretty new. Oh, it's called Spider something. What is it?
Spiderhead?
Yeah, Spiderhead. We watched that. We enjoyed it. All it was kind of like the classic Netflix movie. Like there's no real plot behind it. Like it's just kind of they don't develop a story. It's just kind of happenings, and all of a sudden it's over. I feel like that's really what was behind it. There's no hard storyline, which I don't love. But I like the movie okay. But I have not taken in Obi-Wan. Mostly if my wife doesn't want to watch it, we don't watch it. And if there's something that I don't care for, she'll just watch it when I'm not home, during the day or something like that. So my TV viewing has been fairly limited because of that, unfortunately.
I'll say Obi-Wan though did you watch it, Roy?
No, I haven't.
So it's kind of slow. It's kind of weird. It's a little bit, but the final episode, the big payoff is worth it. It really kind of gives you what the Star Wars fans have been clamoring for years. It's great. You get a lot of cameos, revisits especially from the prequel movies. So it's obviously from the prequel movies because
Jar Jar Binks.
No, he's from no Jar Jar. We don't need that.
He wasn't in the prequel. He was in the prequels.
He was, but no, he was. Yeah,
right. That's the most classic character they have. What is the matter with them? He's so hated. It's crazy.
Really.
I didn't mind him when he first. I didn't like the goofballiness, but when they kind of tried to take the goofball away from him, that's when I stopped liking it. They changed his character because he didn't become a senator or something.
Yeah, he was an apprentice, or something like that. Anyway, no, I mean, I do like Star Wars stuff, but this is one of those that, like Nick, I think it's just almost too much for me where I'm I lose it. I say to myself, that does look decent. I'd probably watch that at some point, but I just kind of lose it in the ether, right? It comes, it goes. It comes, it's talked about super hot for a month or something, and then no one really mentions it again. Kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair, especially the way the Disney Plus is pumping out content, which not quite as good as you'd expect. And maybe I had too high of expectations, but it's always a little bit of a letdown.
It's going to come to a point it doesn't matter. We're just going to keep paying it because that's what we do. Because you got kids. I mean, if you got kids, you got to have Disney Plus.
Yeah, and well, heck, now it's they have all the Netflix stuff on, so you got a password protected, or you can set it for kids level because it's gotten a little more less family friendly, I guess, but not too much. But that's really all I think I've watched. I mean, I'm catching up Miss Marvel, but it's a good show, but it's kind of a slow burn. It hasn't really gone anywhere quite yet. Um, Anything, Roy? What are you vibing on these days?
I mean, the only thing, like, I was watching Better Call Saul. I don't know if you guys were keeping up with that after Breaking Bad, but the finale, obviously, of the most recent season was phenomenal. Um, the next thing that's on my radar, actually, if we're looking ahead, is a show called What We Do in the Shadows. It's
Mm.
on FX. It is basically kind of a sitcom slash, comedy in the stylings of like The Office or what have you. In the stylings of a Modern Family, actually, I would say, where you have these like interviews on the couch, these kind of one-on-ones reflecting on what's happening. But it follows these undead vampires who have incredible, obviously, gifts, but they're also like trying to live their normal lives. And I'm so glad to hear that the person watching this show is also into that show, because it is incredible. It is so funny. And it's actually, I don't know if you guys ever watched the movie before, but the guy who is now in charge of the show starred in the original movie that was filmed, gosh, I mean, maybe 15 years ago, but it's hilarious. Taiki Watt, I mean, he did the Black Panther stuff too. But
He did Thor, Taika Waititi. He did the Thor
yeah,
movie.
Taika, I can't ever say his name, but man, it is that show has me laughing out my ass. So July, that comes back here in early July.
See, I love the show. I watched the first 2 seasons, but my TV's terrible, and it's all about my TV. When I watch Hulu, the commercials are deafeningly loud, and the shows are really quiet. So I have to
Yeah,
turn
you
the
know
volume
what? It's
all the way
true.
up,
Dude, on
and
Hulu, that
then
is the case.
and so it's like it's such a bad experience for me. I've stopped watching anything on Hulu over the last year and a half. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna try to my phone maybe to be better on that,
YouTube
or the
TV, man.
computer here. I'm not made of money, man. I piecemeal everything together and have myself free from the subscription this or that. So,
Well, the awesome thing about YouTube TV is, like, I know all those subscriptions, but if it gets shown on television at all, then you just have to set a reminder to record it, and
Yeah.
it'll find it and it'll record it for you, and then you have unlimited space. So if it ever is on a television, station, and shoot, that's becoming less and less the case, but if it ever is on a television station, you can record it and kind of have it forever.
may give it a shot. I don't know. We'll see. Um, so we'd have some sports talk, but we're going actually longer than we have in a while. We want to table sports. Not a whole lot
We
going
could
on.
table it. We could table it. We
Um,
could table it till next week when my Avs are crowned NHL champions, Stanley
Yeah.
Cup champions.
Hope they get it
Nice.
tonight. Hope they get it.
I do
tonight.
too. God,
I'm particularly invested.
nice.
I'll leave it at that.
Well, if nothing else, just to see like Tampa get knocked off of their high horse.
Yeah,
They've already won the
I
last 2
agree.
years. Like Colorado has been snake bitten in the playoffs. They're good enough. They should have won one already, honestly, in the last 3 years. But they got snake bitten in the playoffs. I guess some guys get hurt, big names, and they're experiencing it a little bit. But hopefully tonight they can close it out. They'll be champions. And then all we got is baseball, right? So all those other sports topics, like, we can get into that. We can get into the Deshaun Watson stuff. We can get into all that mess, because there is quite a bit of it. And we got time. Training camps don't start till the back end of July.
Yep.
yes, sir. So we'll table that. I appreciate you guys. I'm glad we could chat again. Always
Hey,
always look
July
forward to it.
12th, Tuesday, July 12th, 9 p.m. What we do in the shadows,
All right.
season 4.
I'll try to fight through so we can talk about it. Fight through the nonsense of the.
You don't have to
Hulu.
necessarily, it's just it's for you. It's a gift to you.
Okay.
what I'm
well,
doing.
yes.
There you go.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, all right, guys. I'll thank our sponsors. Thank you guys for jumping on with this. Those who listen, we'll put this up on the YouTubes. It'll be up there for anybody to rewatch. Until we see you again, stay above average.